Welcome to Town Board meeting, Thursday, August 17. Please rise and salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are behind the town attorney and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Supervisor Prodi?
Here.
Councilperson Doyle? Here. Gutierrez?
Here.
Blackman?
Here.
And let the record reflect that Councilman Revelard is absent.
And I would like to explain we did not have an executive session because either of the candidates that were due to be interviewed were unable to come tonight.
Oh.
So we will do the interviewing at our next meeting on September 7th. Public comment? No? Okay. Supervisors report. Highway garage and salt shed. Setting up follow-up meeting to discuss concept plan with engineer to discuss possible grants and NYSERDA incentives in addition to salt shed material alternatives for a DEC salt shed grant. CDBG Route 44 sidewalk ramp. Raja Construction won the bid, and the engineer is currently getting contract bond and insurance information from them. Amenia Water District, the town of Amenia has been awarded $481,000 from the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund for Bipartisan and Infrastructure Law, lead service line replacement funds for lead service line inventory. Supervisor Perotti is working with the Department of Health and EFC to meet requirements. Water district customers are required to respond to letters assisting the town with this project that is required by the Department of Health and EPA. Hazardous weather and other notifications. In order for people to be made aware of hazardous weather conditions and other emergency situations, Dutchess County has created a free app for all cell phones called Ready Dutchess. Once the app is installed, you will be notified of any impending conditions. The app will let you know when there is a message in addition to having other helpful information. Town of Amenia website and Channel 22. Administrators for the website are Annette Culligan at extension 105 and Nancy Nowak at extension 108. You can add items to the website as requested by organizations, committees, and boards. Events by organizations, churches, and schools can be advertised on local Channel 22 by sending information to Amenia TV at ameniany.gov. Amenia Town Hall COVID-19. Masks are optional and are available in an envelope on the second set of doors, in addition to KN95 ones on the table inside the front door. COVID-19 test kits are also on the table for anyone who needs one. Signing the visitor log is required. COVID-19 vaccine information, vaccine appointments for homebound people can be made by calling 845-486-2555. COVID-19 vaccine and booster shots are available at Amenia Drugs. Call for appointment 845-373-8000. CVS pharmacies. Go online to schedule an appointment. COVID cases are increasing locally and in the surrounding areas. Take precautions and be safe. Town clerk report.
Good evening. This evening I want to begin with presenting the July 20th minutes of our meeting. There are 3 amendments that I would like to make. That Councilperson Doyle was kind enough to point out that there was a space in the middle of the record report for Beekman. On the bottom of page 3, striping has a spelling error, and then on page 4, to authorize the town attorney to, we're adding the word to, negotiate the terms for the proposed purchase as the rest of the sentence.
I had a couple of minor edits too.
Okay, hit us.
Do you want those now?
Yeah.
Okay. In the 26 July special meeting.
Oh, no, 20th. I'm only on the 20th.
Oh, you're only on the 20th. Let me see. Oh, right. You said that Damien abstained when I think you meant he was absent.
Yeah, I was absent, but I'm listed as present.
Oh, so that's absent. The other ones all say absent.
And also
Thank you.
the striping of the town.
That was the spelling.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's what we changed.
Okay, great. But other than that, it's lovely.
Okay. So that means I need a motion.
Oh,
As amended, with the amendments.
I move that we accept
Leo?
these minutes with the amendments just discussed.
For July 20th.
We're-
For July 20th.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Abstain.
Yes.
Blackman. And then the other set of minutes this evening that we are presenting is the 26th. So
Motion to approve the
he
July,
has a,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
did you want to say something, Leo, about?
July 26th?
No, I wasn't, I was absent. So no, I was
Okay.
just looking at what I had for 03 August.
Okay.
We don't,
We
Motion,
don't have a, because we don't have a,
we don't have a quorum.
we don't?
we don't have a quorum because there was 2 absent that day. and
Oh.
He's absent now.
So we have to
So
have all
then I have
three
to
of
hold
us.
the
Okay.
others. And the other one we've already pulled. Councilwoman Doyle's made some edits to Erica's minutes, so we're going to do the August 3rd.
Okay.
So if you want to send me your
Yeah,
your
I'll send that to you.
comments, and then we can get them all in at the
Yeah,
same time.
there's only one, and it's a number.
Okay, not a problem, thank you. I'm also sharing with the board, I'm in receipt currently of some resignations. The first resignation I have is from Kelly Milano. Kelly sent in her letter of resignation from the rec supervisor position.
Motion to accept with regret Kelly Milano's resignation from the rec position.
I'll second that.
Leo. Councilpersons, Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
The next one I have is from Katie Marinak from the Water District Committee.
Motion to accept with regret the resignation of Katie Marinak from the Water District Committee.
I'll second that. I don't want to hog the seconding, but
It's all right. Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
yes.
And the last one I have this evening is Frank Spano from the Comprehensive Plan Committee.
Motion to accept with regret Frank Spano's resignation from the Comprehensive Plan Update Committee.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Make a motion to authorize the town clerk to advertise for the vacant positions.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Also presenting to the board our vouchers for this month. Our total on this abstract is $194,985.08, and the breakdown is as follows. General fund, $95,913.59. Highway fund, $35,376.62. Amenia Lighting, $781.73. Wasake Lighting, $302.41. And Amenia Water, $62,610.73. And again, this evening, I'm presenting the abstract totaling $194,985.08, and I'm requesting authorization for the supervisor to pay claims.
There's, we're in the middle of a motion.
I know that.
Go ahead.
One of your bills.
No, we need to finish what we're doing.
My name is Bill Flood, I'm on the Water Committee. And you have a bill for $36,000 from SEBI Environmental Services. I've recommended that you don't pay this bill, that I think it should be negotiated down. You and I met the other day about it. I think we're getting overcharged, and we don't have enough money to pay for it, to be frank, other than you moving money from a grant that you have will pay the bills. If we pay this bill, we can't afford to pay this bill without that grant money being transferred. I think at this point, you have to take a breather with this water company guy. It's getting too expensive. Too many bills are coming in. He's charging $120 to attend the meeting. We only have, what, 200 people in the water district. He's $12,000 to do data research. That's a little bit expensive, I would say. I think we're getting snookered here. And I think these bills have to, these bids, the work that has to be done has to be bid out at this point. We've sent a letter to the board requesting that stuff be bid out, and it's obviously not being bid. I know you can use professional services and so on and so forth, but the water company is broke at this point. So we can't keep getting these bills if we don't have the money to pay them. And the grant has not come through yet, from what I understand from the bookkeeper. Has not.
We've been awarded it.
Correct, but it's not available yet.
No, not until we meet certain criteria.
Correct.
Which is bidding out.
Right, which is bidding out all the projects. So at this point, I also talked to the health department the other day. They're saying that the DEC has amended some of the requests, the requirements of this thing, of this lead-based inspection. They're saying that you can take a photo of the inside water lines. That's acceptable, and you don't have to dig them up. So I think we need to step back, either get a third party to come in here and help us to see where we are with this thing, so that we're not spending money that we don't have, or spending money that we don't need to spend. Most of what in the water district can't be dug up anyway. Your mains are in 22, 44, 343 or in the middle of the road or under the pavement. So there's no way you're going to dig it up. In my house, the water shutoff is a foot from my foundation. So it just doesn't make sense. I think some of the older houses, you're going to have to double check and see where these shutoffs are. They should know by now at this point. That's what I would like to see happen.
Thank you.
And I think the reports that you're getting from the engineer, at best, are minimal, not great. I just don't think that the caliber they should be. We're getting much better reports from the wastewater from LaBerge that are just incredible, and they're cheaper. They're cheaper than what we're paying for this water company. That's it, thank you. And then I'll go to the next one.
Bill, before you go, the Water District report is next on the agenda. I mean,
Correct.
you've basically given a bit
But I
of
don't
that.
want you paying that bill.
No, understood. Just setting this aside for now, is there anything else?
The water company, no, we have our chairman resigned, so we're going to have find another person to step up on the committee. We did not,
Choose chair?
Yeah.
she was the chair.
Oh.
I'm not the chair. I'm just,
Yeah, we can send letters out to everyone in the water district like we did before.
yeah, I think we need to do
I mean, we did that before, we can do it again,
for,
to see who wants to serve.
okay.
Okay?
But I don't think that bill should be paid. I think it should be negotiated down. I don't think you're getting the best buck for your dollar.
So to continue with the town clerk's report is that I was just presenting the vouchers that we've received. There's been no motion made yet to authorize the supervisor to pay any amount.
Well, I guess I would move that we pay the bills except for that water bill until the board has had a chance to discuss that.
Would everybody get on their microphones, please?
Oh,
We're really getting bad today.
I'll second that.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
yes.
Okay, so just as an announcement, the Rebuild Together Dutchess County, I know that we've had presentations previous, and the supervisor has announced that the applications were available here at the town hall. We have received notice that the application period is going to extend until September 30th, and there are new applications with the home safety checklist available right outside on the table when you come into the town hall. Other than that, I just want to thank everybody who came out and supported the summer blood drive at the Amenia Firehouse. We had 27 life-saving donations, and that's extremely something to be proud of right here within our own community to give back. So thank you to everybody that took the opportunity to do that, and I think that's going to be a great schedule to keep moving forward. We'll keep our February 1 here during Valentine's right here at the town hall because we all love it here, and then in the summer months we'll do one over at the firehouse because we love to support and give back to that the fire district as well. So other than that, thank you everybody for the town clerk's report, and you're going to want me to acknowledge our packet. In tonight's packet before the town board we have some reports. SEBI's Environmental Services monthly report is here. It does indicate the total gallons pumped, along with water line markouts, emergency response repairs, other matters, and he does put some notes on the bottom of the report. Mike Segelkin has submitted in the monthly reports, reporting for July. They have fire inspections, municipal searches, building permits totaling in the department an income of $12,333.75. He does indicate that there was a violation that was resolved without going to court during the month of July, and 4 notices of appearances that are currently being worked on before the prosecutor. Within our highway department, Megan does share with us on this date that they've received confirmation from FEMA that they'll be receiving $28,419.92 for the mitigation section of Tower Hill Road damage due to Storm Ida in 2021. She also has custom street services coming out and cleaning out the gravel from the catch basins. She has leased trees scheduled in September to take down any unsafe trees. And as of today, they are working on sealing the roads beginning September 14th. So everybody to be on the lookout. Those roads are Lake Amenia, West Lake Amenia, Mygat, Old North Road, Midway, John L., Lango, Lincoln, and Washington Court. So those are all the ones that are going to be done in the month of September. Also in our packets, we're finding a report from the rec director identifying the events that they've been working on, as well as an upcoming basketball clinic and work that they have done at Beekman Park. And looks like they're working on their budget. And I'm not sure if this is part of, is this something you want me to?
No, that's on the agenda for
Okay.
discussion.
So then that's all the reports that we have in our packet. So I also acknowledge circulation and receipt of our operating statement and our balance sheets that came directly from our bookkeeper earlier this week. And other than that, I'm not aware of any other reports from committees or departments that's been circulated.
Okay, are there any other board or committee reports?
You go first.
Hi, Charlie Miller. So first, as a public comment, I know we're coming up on budget season, and I haven't really seen any other additional work around the highway garage. It seems like there's a couple of capital projects that the town should consider, and the town board possibly discuss, funding for capital projects. So the highway garage will clearly need some capital. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be
We're currently meeting and discussing that and looking for grants.
Okay. As you always say, grant money comes after, so you have to have funds up front. So I would imagine.
Yes, we'll have to bond the project once we settle on a final concept plan.
Okay. The same goes for the water district and the capital fund of the water district, which has none at this point. Amenia Green is another. I know that's on the discussion here, but it also will need capital funds. It seems as though our budgeting over at least the last 5 years that I looked at, there's no real line item for capital projects. I think it's something that's crucial that the town board should consider, funding for capital projects in its budget. If it's not, 2024 will come and go without that. The water district, I also, just like Bill, was a little confused by a bill for $30,000 that I suppose is being paid out of a grant that's coming through the IUP, being drawn off the BIL. That grant funding is not available for projects that aren't properly bid through the parameters. So should you pay this bill, it will not be able to be reimbursed through that grant. I just want to make sure the town board is aware of that. So I think that that's an important thing as well. So on to the report from the Housing Board. We discussed there's funding through the state for ADUs, so the Housing Board is going to put together an outreach plan to members of the community. We're going to try to work with Millerton Northeast as well to get feedback if there are owners who would be interested in creating an ADU, and if so, to try to see the demand on the supply side to possibly go to Dutchess County to be able to enter into this program.
The folks, the audience at home may not know what an ADU is.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
Charlie.
an ADU is an accessory dwelling unit. So it could be a space over a garage that can be converted to a studio apartment with a bathroom and a kitchen. You could actually not need to do anything with your septic if you were to consider possibly one of, let's say you had 3 bedrooms in your home, one of those bedrooms as an office, and so therefore your C of O would still be able to accommodate an additional unit. There's a program through the state called One Plus. They've actually allocated, I want to say it's $20 million, so that municipalities can partner with a nonprofit to then fund these kind of ADU conversions up to $125,000 per unit. It's actually kind of free money as long as the unit that's created is affordable, and I think the time period is 10 years for this particular program. So we're too small of a community, in my opinion, to do it ourselves, but Dutchess County is not. So, you know, or possibly we would come together with 3 communities. Maybe it would be us, Millerton Northeast, Pine Plains, those are the 3 communities in the Tri-Town Coalition. Ulster County did this, and Ulster County partnered with RUPCO, and RUPCO manages that whole process, so ultimately the municipality isn't having to do a lot of the heavy lifting for it. But if the Housing Board can see that there is demand from the supply side, so from homeowners who wanted to do this, I think then we would, you know, put together a coalition to try to apply through the state. I will also say that we were really fortunate to have a number of people come to our meeting tonight from Spruce Hill. Actually, some of our neighbors are here tonight. They abut the Hudson River Housing proposed development, and they had a number of questions and concerns, which is really great. If people don't know, Spruce Hill was a lot that was subdivided into 4 parcels, and then 4 houses were built there, so there's 4 homeowners there, and the top of their parcel, or the western portion, abuts the Hudson River Housing lot. So they had a lot of really great comments and concerns that we're going to take back to Hudson River Housing. And we are planning on having probably 3 community events for that project in September and October. And I should say that project hasn't gone before site plan review in the planning department. That won't happen until probably probably November, December. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and you guys are, I believe, voting on the HVA. The wastewater committee is very thankful that that's going to happen. We're hoping that that'll move the needle on our IUP scoring in the spring. So thank you.
Are there any other board or committee reports?
I have a committee report from the CAC. The next CAC meeting will be held on the 3rd Wednesday at 7 p.m. here at Town Hall, and that would be, by my calculation, Wednesday, September 20th. And the Climate Smart Task Force is a subcommittee of the CAC, and they wanted to announce 4 points. They are working hard towards getting clean energy community points for grants to help us reduce our reliance on non-renewable energy technology here in the town of Amenia, and to reduce our costs and energy use. And to do that, they need to announce this little public service announcement. This will give them some points. I'm going to announce on their behalf that the town installed 11 heat pumps at Town Hall. The Town Hall installed this air source heat pump technology. The technology runs on electricity. It delivers more energy than it uses by concentrating and moving the heat rather than generating it. And this newer technology keeps you warm even in New England weather. It will filter the air and keep our air cleaner because there's no combustion involved. It solely uses electricity. It'll save energy and save money over time. So we want the public to understand that that's an option out there for you and for the town to adopt if and when you end up changing out your heating source. They also wanted to announce that they're having a community repair cafe on Saturday, October 14th, here at the Town Hall from 9 to 1. And you can check our events listing, I guess, on our town website in the next few weeks for details. But I know they're working on getting people to repair your lamps. If there's just simple issues with some of your things, you can come to our repair cafe, and we're using local volunteers to help repair rather than throw out some of the things that would be otherwise useful if we could just repair it. Donations are accepted, but otherwise it's totally free, and we'd love to see you there. Thank you.
I guess I'll do the planning board. At the last meeting, the planning board voted to approve the site plan for the Keenstud development. What that means is that the property was zoned in 2007 as hotel and what is it called? Resort development overlay, and a previous project had a large number of houses close together up at the top of the hill. And the new applicant proposed 27 houses on very large lots, which sounds better than 100 houses. But there are major issues about the view from Delaverne Hill looking towards this property, since that's spoken of very prominently in the comprehensive plan as being kind of the most important view in Amenia, and this obviously would impact that. There will be a public hearing on this further along in the process, but I think if people are interested in this property, which a lot of people in town seem to be, they should maybe start attending planning board meetings so that they get the information as it comes up.
Bill Flood. If I can go back to the water again. Somehow, I think, Victoria, you and I spoke about getting another party in here, the third party, to look at what we can do.
We're actually having a third party do a presentation at the next meeting on September 7th.
Okay.
I had a company call me who actually can take a look at the water district and do a fee, like a rate feasibility, among other things. So that will be part of the September 7th meeting. The company is Waterworth.
Okay. And I think also we've got to come up with some kind of a plan to, some of these some of the commercial rates are going to have to go up.
Well, that's what they do.
Right, that's what
They look at all your expenses.
Right.
They do a dashboard.
Uh-huh.
And they also look at all the infrastructure. They're, another set of eyes looking at the water district and doing an assessment of where we need to go from here.
I'd also request that the committee receive the reports that you get from the engineering reports and stuff, because we have not gotten anything at this
The
point.
ones we get, the ones here?
We have
We
not-
sent you a lot of the,
You did recently sent me, your office sent me the,
and we gave you a box of
These monthly
information.
reports, Bill?
The reports that from the engine, like from this report, we never got a copy of this report
Which report?
of what we're being charged $36,000 for. We got an invoice for this, but we never got the report,
There's
What
no
report? There's no report.
Proposal, you mean?
It's just a bill.
just a bill.
Yeah,
Okay, so.
that's
we have
what,
no-
all we got.
You have been sent every report that you requested.
Okay.
It was in a box of information
we
that
got,
Damien
But
brought.
there's more stuff whenever we get billed, like, I would assume you're going to get a report from this, so maybe, maybe not.
Maybe not, I don't know.
It's not it's
just an
basic,
inventory.
no, it's part of an inventory.
Yeah, but what Bill's saying is that you were charged $36,000 for work, and there should be work product. And the Water District Committee is asking for that work product. I mean,
I know what he's asking for.
are you refusing to provide it?
Of course not.
Okay,
I don't have it.
which is another reason you shouldn't pay the bill for.
When he gets what it is, it's just doing an inventory of the places in the water district. And if you want a full report of everything to go with that amount of money, then I will get you a report. But I do not have one at this time, and I am not refusing to give anybody anything.
It would be good to actually see that, just because from the information that was given to the board, it isn't clear how far along the SEBI is with their work and specifically what they've been doing. So I think it would be good to verify that.
Which I will have them do.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is committees, correct? We're doing committees?
We're doing committees.
So I'm also chairman of the
Comprehensive plan?
Plan. So we have not met this summer. We've taken some time off, and we're also waiting for the county to send us an updated version of the comprehensive plan, which I think, Vicki, you just received, correct? So
Yep.
that went out. That'll go out to the board members the other day.
Okay,
So that's where we are. Hopefully, we'll meet again and get that underway shortly. And it's too bad Frank Spano
Yeah.
resigned. It's too bad. But he brought a lot to the committee when he was there. So same way with Katie. It's too bad that people have to resign. So anyway, that's it for me.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I think we're up to discussion on Amenia Green. I forwarded you emails that I received from the Recreation Commission regarding Amenia Green. We have a concept plan and that we were sent. However, there's no budget and there's no, nothing that's been put together to lay out what funding sources are going to fund this project. This isn't, the town board hasn't approved Amenia Green at this point. I know the Recreation Commission is talking about going for grants, but without a budget and without a plan for the funding streams, I don't see how they can go ahead and apply for grants when there's no budget for the potential cost or no plan that's laid out for the funding streams to pay for all this.
Victoria, I'm the liaison to the rec committee, but I actually missed the last meeting. Do you know, I had often thought that it would be really helpful to see the Wassaic portion of this design, and do you have any sense from them how much longer
Amenia
that'll
Green
take?
is not Wassaic.
No,
Amenia Green is out here.
No, I'm saying but they're supposed to be doing a second phase on Wassaic.
I know, but I sent you everything that the landscape architect has completed.
Right, that isn't what I'm asking,
I
Victoria.
can answer your question only because Paul sent us a bunch of emails about it in response to Vicky's last couple of questions about it. I think it's a little hard to have this discussion without members of the rec commission here to.
What I'm just saying that we have not been given anything.
We haven't, and we haven't had a discussion about it, and, it'd be good to have a discussion with the people who are advocating for it, and I think it's a good idea. To answer your question, Leo, Paul reported on July 6th that based on the work that the landscape architect did and the determination that most of that park area was in a floodplain, and the ongoing discussions with some of the private landowners in the area about maybe leasing or trading or whatever, there was just a lot up in the air right then. And so Paul reports that after looking at all those items, they felt that it was best to move the planning for Wasaga Park to phases 3 through 5. And they're just prioritizing their concept work on on the green first.
And is phase 2 Beekman Park? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
I think they moved the repair of the defective equipment, the playground equipment, to the
Phase
green because
I'm sorry, Vicki, to what?
last I understood is that they were looking for bids to understand how much it would cost to repair the broken or the damaged piece of playground equipment so that they could include that with this green proposal in their most recent attempt to get a grant.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess Amenia Green would be phase 2 then?
Well, the broken equipment would be dovetailed into this phase 1, so high priority. The other part of the Beekman Park would probably be phase 2, technically. I understood because of our meeting where Paul was here, and we encouraged him strongly to include the broken piece of equipment in the first phase so that we could get that addressed, because it's too expensive to just buy it outright.
I just found the 5-year master plan with the phases. So you're right, Amenia Green was number 1, Beekman was 2, and then Wasaga Park was 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, thank you. What I was going to say is I thought that we were far enough along in the process that we actually might have had a design for that again, just to sort of understand more about how the phasing is going to work and what the costs are going to be, which we don't have for anything yet, but I thought that the landscape designer might have been far enough along that we would know what all the pieces were. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the whole problem. I mean, we can table, we can put Amenia Green on for the next meeting also, but the problem is that we have not been given a budget for any of the phases. We have not been given a plan for funding streams. I mean, we have a concept.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. It's a good, I don't know if folks at home have seen this, but, there's a concept that the Rec Commission has put together with the landscape architect that they've been working with. Basically, to take this giant field / swamp that sits out here outside of the town hall, make some changes to parking and access, and put a splash pad, I believe, as part of this proposal down by the playground, and put a pavilion. It's a concept. It's a bunch of ideas that I certainly merit discussion. I just think we should have that discussion with the folks who are
Yeah,
advocating
we can, I'll put it on the agenda also, but I just felt that the phases were out of order.
Okay.
And there are more immediate needs in Beekman Park with equipment and the concession stand, and there being handicap access to the bathrooms, that they should take priority over doing over Amenia Green. But I think that's something we need to discuss perhaps at our next meeting.
Yeah, let's do it.
I
with
think
the-
that's,
with the
I think that's a good idea, because the parking changes too are a pretty extensive part of the budget here, part of the work, and while I think that they're mostly a good idea too, I'm not sure that in terms of importance that they are, first priority. I certainly think the recreational aspect of this is, but, and I do think the parking would be good to make those changes, but I don't think we should be taking a next step on Amenia Green without sort of a clearer sense of the pieces.
Yeah, I don't think there is a next step on Amenia Green other than for us to talk about it and disseminate the concept and the ideas with the public and vet interest and
Actually, the
support.
next step is a budget and funding, according to our municipal accountant.
Well, we're all saying slightly different things here. So what Leo's saying is he believes that maybe a budget is not the next step and maybe reprioritization.
If they're going to apply for grants, they have to have a budget.
I understand.
That's what
Okay.
they want. They want us to approve them applying for grants.
No. What they asked us for was a letter of support to pursue this concept so that they could apply for grants and further do engineering studies and approving the concept or endorsing it. I don't think it means that necessarily we have to go know every detail or fund it, but if we're approving the exploration of a concept for grant money for them to hire an engineer to further study whether it's feasible, that seems reasonable. Anyways, this conversation should just happen with the commission. It's their idea. I think it's a creative idea. I don't know how it fits into everything else that we have going on, but that's our job to figure out, and we should talk about it with them. So next meeting, maybe?
Yeah, I'll have it on the agenda.
All right.
Okay, resolutions. Ian? Access agreement.
So I've kept the board updated on a play-by-play of my efforts to negotiate this agreement. The attorney, unfortunately, has been not amazingly responsive. I've either called or emailed him virtually every single day. And he did call me today. He promised to have an agreement to me by Monday for him and I to discuss. So as soon as I receive that, I will notify the board and contact him to discuss it. But that's the status of the access agreement.
Ian, the document that's part of our package, is that, that looks like it's what he sent to you? Is that the original?
Correct.
his
So
original
I
concept?
sent the document to him. He made those original comments. I called. We had a conversation on those comments, and there were edits to be made from that, which he was going to submit. So now I'm waiting for him to submit.
So this, I mean, what we're seeing actually is the first step then. There's been back and forth since then.
There's been a discussion on that item. There's no back from that. There was just a discussion from the document you have.
Oh, okay.
So that was the basis of the last phone conversation, to which there were issues which were discussed with this board. I've not heard anything back from that.
Okay, so the ball is in his court, but he's the one who's ultimately drafting the text of this with your input?
His edits, yeah. So,
His editing,
so
right.
he had changes and edits. We discussed them, and he said, I will add the language. So I'm waiting for him to provide that.
Okay.
Resolution for HVA wastewater proposal, resolution number?
Leo, you mentioned that possibly there's a way of the board authorizing this access agreement, in some kind of draft form so that we don't have to wait another 2 weeks.
I had asked, I'm sorry. I had asked Ian that, and he had said that I was misunderstanding what we had done in the on past projects.
Yeah, so there are material terms to this agreement which have not yet been negotiated, so the terms could change. I mean, we're in the middle of a negotiation, and because these are material terms, which some have monetary implications, which I don't have a final
What
answer on.
I mean, we're ultimately looking to open a door and to have somebody walk in. There is no work to be done. Like, so it is confusing to me. As somebody who does this all the time, I just do not understand what the heavy lift here is. So could you enlighten us? Like, what are the sticking points? Like, all of the risk assessments are somebody walking in, taking air samples, taking a little sample of wood in the basement, and there's pumping a septic tank. Nobody's septic tank company, like, required. I just don't, I'm confused.
Not sure it's 100% appropriate to do because we're in the middle of negotiation of the agreement, but one of the specific examples, if the board is okay with me divulging this, I will. But it's up to the board if they want me to discuss one of the sticking points, which we're all very much aware it's been discussed.
I mean,
I know what you're talking about.
Basically, Charlie's asking Ian to explain some of the points that are being
Sticking
negotiated.
points. Yeah.
And Ian is saying it's not typical for us to discuss contracts or whatever that are being
In open
negotiated.
meeting.
In open meeting, we do that in executive session.
Well, then I would just, so when the board enters into executive session to have these conversations, please go to those meetings understanding, we just need a door to be opened. There's no work to be done here, and it's confusing because all of the vendors have provided certificates of insurance naming this seller as an additional insured that are active policies, and it's their liability, not ours. So,
I guess, Ian, my question would just be, what are the monetary consequences of, that are still up for, I mean, it sounded like there were issues about insurance, but it's true, it isn't our insurance, it's the three vendors' insurance.
If the board wants me to discuss it, I don't have a problem discussing it. It's just, it is a contract that's being negotiated right now. And
Okay.
I don't want that to necessarily affect the conversation. But if the board is okay, I will proceed.
I understand that part. I guess the question is, I'm just not seeing,
I can't necessarily answer that question without divulging the issue that's in the contract.
maybe there's an executive session quickly after this that you guys can figure it out, because as
It isn't so much figuring it out. Most of the delay has been from the seller's attorney.
All of the delay, I mean, I'm waiting for him to get back to me on an issue that was in the agreement which he added and we've objected to. And I'm waiting for him to get back to me on that, but I can't do anything until he gets back to me. So I'm at a
We
sticking
just,
point.
I
can't
mean,
proceed.
there's no way Ian can make him respond any faster, and he hasn't.
I've literally called and emailed him virtually every single day. Follow-ups, I indicated that we had this board meeting, I indicated that we need to get this done, we're trying to move this along, we don't want to have any further delay, I've indicated the dates
So
and
that's
times of
your
every one of our
sticking point.
meetings, I mean, he's just not responding.
The seller's
So-
attorney.
Okay,
There you
can we-
go.
Can we move this? Thanks.
Resolution number
90.
awarding contract for water quality monitoring services. Whereas the town of Amenia is seeking funds to create a new sewer district within the Amenia hamlet, which will be served by a community wastewater treatment facility. Whereas competitive funding opportunities that can help finance this project require documentation of need, including water quality data. Whereas Housatonic Valley Association has submitted a proposal to the town of Amenia to conduct a surface water quality monitoring study. And whereas the town board of the town of Amenia desires to award a contract to Housatonic Valley Association amount of $10,000 in accordance with the proposal annexed here too. Whereas professional services or services requiring special or technical skill, training or expertise are exempt from the bidding requirements under general municipal law, section 103 in the town of Amenia procurement policy. Whereas this is a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act and therefore not subject to review under seeker. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. One, the recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. 2, the Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby authorizes a contract with Housatonic Valley Association to conduct a surface water quality monitoring study related to the planned new sewer district in the Amenia Hamlet in the amount of $10,000. The Town Board hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor to execute any documents necessary to effectuate the purpose and intent of this resolution. The Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby authorizes the payment for said services to be paid from Planning Wastewater Budget Line 8020.4. The Town Supervisor is hereby directed to provide a copy of the proposal and any signed documents to the Town Clerk, who will maintain the same in her files. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion that we
Second.
go ahead with this resolution.
Second, discussion. Charlie, I had one question for you on this, if I could. So the 4 to 6 sampling sites from their proposal within the proposed sewer district over 4 to 6 sampling events held between August 22nd and September 30th. That's the scope of what, when they're going to go out to do the field collection, right?
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
So do we know, did they indicate that they would be going on any private property, or, I mean, how, if they do plan to test on private property, would we need some sort of, where are they planning to test if not on?
So
private
it's
property?
it's surface water testing, so it would be water bodies that are, could possibly be abutting. So there's probably three testing sites would be behind Town Hall, actually, which would abut Cumbies, because we know that that system is failing, and would likely be, I'm forgetting the body name, but that runs then south past that, sort of like, Lakeville Road kind of thing. So, I mean, it is...
LaBelle?
I'm sorry, LaBelle.
LaBelle.
Excuse me, LaBelle. It's going out and putting a little, sample bottle and collecting water and walking away.
But that's from the bridge, presumably, that goes
Yes,
over the
that's my
creek at that point?
understanding. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like they're not actually going on private property. They don't need to go on private
No,
property.
and I will say there is, so the wastewater committee was contacted 2 weeks ago by an individual who's in the district who has a failing system, and I'm trying to contact them because that may be a sampling site to that extent, that would be going to their property and we would get permission from them to do that. But I think it's more about assessing if that looks like there's a standing water body around it. If there's not, that wouldn't be an appropriate place to test.
Okay.
Was that?
And I should mention 2 things. One is that the testing has to be done while the weather is still warm enough to support bacteria, I would assume, and while the water is actually still wet. And the other piece was that I was doing surveying for the wastewater committee 2 weeks ago and talking to people along Route 22 to see whether they were interested in being connected. And 3 of them, I only saw, I think I saw less than a dozen people, and 3 of them had wastewater systems that they said were kind of on the edge of collapse, and that they were, they were delighted to think this might happen, but could they wait long enough? So it does sound like there are a number of sites in town where there's already a problem. So if I haven't already, I'll get you those addresses.
Great. Yeah, and this is specifically, so through the state, the way in which you increase your intended use plan score for this, one of the 5 criteria is by showing that you are curing a water body that is impaired by wastewater. And honestly, their testing is just nitrogen levels. So in our community, it may possibly be runoff from ag, but they don't make a differentiation between it, hopefully to our benefit. And so it has to be along a water body that comes through our town and that's recognized by the EPA. So it's not like going in somebody's backyard and testing.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Kateras?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Okay, resolution for transfer funds.
I'm going to do it for old time's sake?
Well, we're going to have to amend it.
Oh, never mind.
I think you'd rather have me do it. Okay, that's 91 then?
Yes.
Okay, with the transfer of funds, there were two items on here where we were going to transfer funds from the ARPA funds to pay the $36,600 for the water, for the SCBI payment, but since the board told to not hold off on that payment, I will be not reading those two transfers. So this resolution will be amended without the two budget amendments for the water fund.
So we're striking the entire third to last and
Well,
second
the
to
last one will do because that's for the regular budget.
Right, but the second to last and the third to last are
Yes.
stricken. Okay.
Okay, whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary unanticipated to amend the budget, whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 71104.01 Amenia Park CE by $400, decreasing expense line 71454.01.030 Intercommunity Rec CE trips by $400 for signs and line marking machine. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 16204.01.062 building CE maintenance by $3,000 and decreasing expense line 16204.01.059 building CE heat by $3,000 for unanticipated costs. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 13554.01.44 assessor CE tertiaries by $5,000 and decreasing expense line 1904.01.049 special item CE contingency by $5,000 for unanticipated costs. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing revenue line 1989.01 other economic assistance by $15,000 and increasing expense line 80204.01.161 affordable housing, rental housing by $15,000 for FCH grant. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing revenue line 1989.01 other economic assistance by $1,236, increasing expense line 80204.01.158 planning CE housing by $1,236 for additional Hudson River housing grant. Whereas budget amendment in the water fund, increasing expense line 83404.06 transmission distribution CE by $5,000 and increasing, and it should be decreasing, and decreasing expense line 83204.06 horsepower pump equipment by $5,000 for unanticipated costs. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board authorizes a transfer necessary budget line to process the transactions.
I'll second that, and I have a question. The line, Victoria, where it talks about increasing other economic assistance line by $1,236 and increasing the expense line for planning CE housing by the same amount. I'm just confused as to what that is. Is that money that, I mean, is the 15?
It's part of, it's where, that's how we need to record the grant money that we get.
But I thought that that was, $15,000, not, I didn't know what the extra amount was. I thought it was a.
Well, they're two different grants.
Oh, okay, well, that was, Well, I would like to understand that, sure.
Yeah, it's how we have to record it.
Yeah, so that remaining $1,000 or so actually was what was left in the 2022 budget for those mini grants that we won too.
Okay.
So we got $10,000, and the Foundation for Community Health reached out to us and said, we have a little money left over.
Okay, got
Can you
it.
use it? And we were
Thank
very
you.
grateful to receive it. And this sounds like bookkeeping, housekeeping.
Yeah, that's what it
Terrific.
is. It's how we
I
need
just
to
didn't-
record it.
Yeah, I just didn't recognize the number. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's just how we're recording the grant money. And I made the motion, Leo's the second.
Okay. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
I don't know of any other matters, town board comments.
I just want to thank or congratulate the rec committee on their summer concert series, because I only attended 2 of the 6, but I passed by on some of the others, and everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves, and I thought that was a great addition to the options for people of all ages to enjoy themselves, and so I want to thank them for that.
Is there any other town board comments?
I have some. I just wanted to make the point that when we meet with Recreation, one of the clear questions I have is, and maybe if I'll send this email in an email to the chair, will the grant that they have in mind for applying for the town green and the new piece of equipment at Beekman Park, will it actually cover engineering and planning expenses? Because in my experience, my limited experience, when I went to these grant workshops, the state parks and recreation grants were great, but they had to result in an actual product, something that advances forward recreation, and it was typically like a $200,000 project minimum. So it was kind of a big lift for if you're just talking about engineering and planning and trying to map out what it is you want to do. I think they have to be concrete capital improvement involved in that, in those grants. So that was my, just a comment that I will forward on to the Recreation Commission. I'm meeting on August 24th at 2:30 here at the Town Hall with Livia Vanover and John Nowak, our facilities manager here, to see if the Town Hall auditorium is sufficient for a production and 4 workshops that we got grant funding for December. For December, early December would be the workshops with local students to be a part of a Arm of the Sea Theater production on December 17th, I believe. I kept getting those dates mixed up. But Sunday, December 17th with a snow date of Monday the 18th. And the idea is to have local students perform or participate in free workshops ahead of time, ahead of the production, to learn a portion of the production, and then the Arm of the Sea Theater would come in and they would be a part of the production. It's called Into the Light, and it's done successfully in Beacon and Kingston and many other school districts where they integrate, particularly focused on 3rd graders. But it would, in my case, I think our school district is small. We would open that up wider, and they would have a chance to work directly with dancers in the Vanover Caravan Dance Company to be a part of it. And it's a great opportunity. It works really well in the city of Beacon. They do it every year, and it's I'm looking forward to it, but I also want to make sure that the life-size puppets that the Arm of the Sea Theater can clear our stage, can work with our the constraints and assets that we have the curtains don't really close, and we're working out the sound system and all of the details that such a production would involve. But we're close. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great. Can I propose that we go into executive session, both to discuss with Ian the specifics of the agreement he's negotiating, and I also wanted to just talk about progress on Mosaic Center,
Mosaic Center?
the stuff going on in the center of the park, in the center of Mosaic.
Like the title search, and we could, yeah. Could we also add possible, a discussion on possible land acquisition? Property acquisition?
We could do an executive session.
I worked specific, give Dawn a reason.
Well, land acquisition is a contract negotiation. The access agreement is a contract negotiation.
Contract negotiations.
Contract negotiation and acquisition of land for those two items. That
So you want to go
What
into
was the
executive session
Title
now?
search, the update on the title search.
And the other was about progress on that beyond the title search.
Are you making a
So that's
motion?
I thought I did make a
You did.
motion.
I just need a second.
Second.
Damian. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
The time is
8:06.
8:06.